Hello, welcome to Strokes of Magic. My name is Tori. We're doing this pink and green eyeshadow look. The two palettes we are using is the Sour Patch Kid palette and the Juvias Place Cultural 2 palette. So we're going to go ahead and take that yellowish green and that light green just to hopefully make a lighter green. And we're using a flat eyeshadow brush, and we're going to go ahead and use patting motions just to place that in the inner part of our lid. And we are gonna use, I think I said patting motions already, but yeah, we're just using patting motions. So I love doing colorful eye looks, dramatic, not so dramatic, but yeah, I decided to film every day when I get ready for work, even when I get ready for work, just so you guys can have some videos. And I also just love creating videos for you guys. And now we're gonna go into the Sour Patch palette and go into that light green because the green I made wasn't light enough for my liking. I cannot believe that next Friday is going to be May 1st. That is so crazy on how time is flying by. Like, hello? Please slow down. So that just means that my 39th birthday is in 28 days. 39. I cannot believe I'm going to be 39 years old next month. That's just so crazy to think, but I'm also blessed as well. Next, we're going to go back into the Juvias Place palette, and we're using that pinkish purple shade. And we're going to place this onto the outer part of our eye using another flat eyeshadow brush using patting motions. I also have the tape on the end of my eye just so it can help create that crisp line that we want when we bring the eyeshadow out and wing it out. So it just helps me get a crisp line. I know that this may look hard, but honestly, and trust me, this look is so easy and simple. That's why I try to find colorful but easy colorful looks to do for you guys, just so I can teach you guys a little bit more, because I know a lot of beginners will probably watch my videos as well. So I just want to help teach you guys how to use colorful eyeshadow looks to keep makeup fun. Because I don't know, I mean, yeah, clean girl makeup is pretty and everything, but I don't like looking the same like others. So if colorful eye looks is your thing and you want to learn how to do it, just go ahead and subscribe to my channel. So the next palette and the third palette we are using today, I didn't think I was going to have to use 3 palettes, but we're going to use that 80s palette by BH Cosmetics, and using that darker purple and a dense brush, a small dense brush, to really deepen up that outer corner of our eye of the pink that we just put on, just so we can get more of a definition into our eyeshadow look. If there's any kind of eyeshadow look you would like for me to do, crazy, not so crazy, very colorful, not so colorful, you get the idea. Please feel free to message me on my Instagram. I will leave it on the screen as well so you guys can send me some inspirations. I do find a lot of my inspirations on Pinterest. That's where I get a lot of my ideas from, either by copying or, making them into my own. I know that using colorful eyeshadow is scary at first, but once you get the hang of it and learn your color wheel and what mixes well together and everything like that, it is not so scary. It just takes trial and error and patience to learn. I know not everybody has the time to learn on how to do it, but honestly, if you really want to learn something, you will definitely make the time for it. Back when 2016, when I didn't have a job yet, I did sit down and watch a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of makeup tutorials, and I just sat there and I just practice and practice. Yes, I started out with easy, simple looks first, but that's how you start. You start with easy and then you just build your... Okay, now that everything is placed on how I like it and then the shape that I like, we're going to go ahead and take a blending brush and we're just going to blend out the harsh lines. So on to the face, I am using the e.l.f. Power Grip primer, and we're going to place that all over. I love this primer. It is sticky and it helps everything stay in place. So I'm not really smearing it on just to blend it out. I am using patting motions. I mean, some places I am smearing it just to blend it in other places, but I am mainly using patting motions. Look how sticky this primer is. That's so crazy. It stays right in place on my face when I place the primer onto my face inside the bottle. That's how sticky it is. That's crazy. Okay, so next I'm going to go in with my Milani setting spray. We're going to go ahead and set that in place. It also helps it stay in place and helps hydrates my face. Now we're going to go into foundation. The foundation I'm using is the Maybelline Filter Foundation in 120. 120 is a little too dark for me. I feel like this would be my summer shade and not my winter shade. I need to go ahead and get a lighter one. So I like to go ahead and blend it out with a brush first, just to, I don't know, I guess it's a little more full coverage when I use a brush instead of a sponge, because the sponge just kind of tends to pick up everything up. But I do like to go back in with a damp sponge to make sure that there isn't any brush streaks in my base. Now we're going to go into the Maybelline Filter Concealer. I like this concealer, but I also don't like it because it's not full coverage enough for me. The first color I'm going to go into is number 30. It's closest to my skin tone, and we're going to put it underneath our eyes. And you don't have to put as much concealer as I do, but I like a lot of concealer. Most of the time I use this as foundation mainly. And we're also going to go ahead and spot conceal with this concealer. And then we're going to go into a lighter shade, and this is in the shade 15. And we're going to just let that sit for a while and also just highlight in the other places. Next, we're going to go in with the Juvias Place Cream Contour in the shade Honey. And we're going to contour our face. And you want to go ahead and contour where your cheekbones are. You can also make a fishy face to feel where your cheekbones are, whether you have a square face, circle face, heart-shaped, you know. And then I'm also going to go ahead and contour my nose. I don't do too much. I just do a little bit. So the reason why I started to let my concealer sit for a little bit on my face before I blend it out, is just because it helps be a little bit more full coverage, and also, I don't know, it just blends out easier. And I also like to put my blush on before I blend out my concealer. You will see why in a second after I get everything blended out with a sponge. I like blending out my contour with a sponge just so it's not so harsh looking. And then I like to go into the Juvias Place bronzer in the shade Medium, just to go ahead and set that contour. You don't have to use bronzer if you don't want to, but I like setting it with the bronzer. But I do recommend you to set it though, just so it can stay in place all day long. So the blush I'm using is by Milani, and it is in Coral Crush is what it's called. And we're gonna go ahead and dab that onto our cheekbones. And I like to not really have it on my cheekbones, but near my temples usually. And I do bring it kind of towards my cheekbones, but not really on my cheekbones. But I like to have that lifted look on my face, so that gives it an illusion of a lifted face. Same thing with the cream contour. I like to have it towards my hairline and everything, not all the way to my cheekbones. So it all really depends on the shape of your face and what you have, but yeah, I like to do that. So after I do my cream blush, that is when I start blending out my concealer. And well, no, first I like to cut my cheekbones a little bit more just by adding some concealer underneath the bronzer and the blush that we just put on. just to help clean up the underneath a little bit more. So after I place that under my cheekbones, I will start blending out my concealer.
Okay.
And so if you do put a little bit too much blush on accident, this will help you blend out your blush a little bit more, just so it doesn't look so scary looking. But me, I'm a whore for blush. I love blush, and I'm obviously having a little bit of a dance party, a little dance break. But yeah, I love doing this trick, and it just helps blend everything together and makes your base makeup more flawless and more seamlessly. To me, I think so. It's just how I do it. I'm adding a little bit more just so it can really cover the dark circles. I hate my dark circles. I really do. And it's like I like this concealer, but I don't at the same time because it's not full coverage of enough for me, for my liking. So I honestly need to get another concealer. But if you like that light concealer feeling and that hydrating kind of concealer feeling and not so heavy and cakey and gross feeling, this concealer is perfect for you. It is the Maybelline Filter Concealer.
Blending it
not
all
sponsored
out.
or anything, but yeah, I just went on a couple
girl makeup where? Let me stop. Not in this channel. If you like clean girl makeup, that's cool.
So after I use a brush to blend out my concealer, I like to go back in with a sponge, a damp sponge, and it just helps.
More blush. Yeah. We love blush over here. We're gonna use this one right here. By BH Cosmetics. They don't have this one anymore. To help set that cream blush. I am a blush whore. Okay? And a little on the nose. I'm sorry if you hear that. My neighbors upstairs is noisy. Like, I understand kids run and all that stuff, but all freaking day long, from like 6 in the morning until like 7 at night.
For setting powder, we are using the one by Morphe in the color Translucent, and we're just gonna go ahead and set our concealer. And also gonna place this underneath our cheekbones to help clean everything up underneath as well and to cut it even more. And now we're just go ahead and now we're gonna go ahead and wipe it off, add a little bit more blush, and set everything in place with the same setting spray I used in the beginning in this.
So I got new eyelashes yesterday. Yesterday was the 16th, right? Yeah. Yesterday was the 16th, and I got these yesterday, and today's the 17th. April 17th when I'm filming this. So I'm either going to use this lash by Ioni, and it's in the style Wispy Short Natural. It's either this lash I'm going to use or this one by the same brand, and this is the Wispy Smoky Long Anime Doll eyelash. We'll see which one looks better, but I'll be right back once everything's all finished.
And we're all finished. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I will be posting every Sunday and Thursday, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye.